Hello and welcome to KLM Institute. Today, we bring you an in-depth look into one of the most incredible survival stories in aviation history, the miraculous landing of Aloha Airlines Flight 243. On April 28, 1988, a routine inter-island flight from Hilo to Honolulu took a nightmarish turn as a large section of the fuselage suddenly ripped away mid-air, exposing passengers to open sky. Join us as we explore the events leading up to this catastrophe, the heroic actions taken by the crew, and the lasting impact this incident has had on aviation safety. Flight 243. A routine journey turns to disaster. On April 28, 1988, Aloha Airlines Flight 243 was scheduled to complete a short 35-minute journey from Hilo to Honolulu. The Boeing 737-200, under the command of Captain Robert Schornstheimer and First Officer Mimi Tompkins, had 95 passengers and crew on board. Around 20 minutes into the flight, while cruising at 24,000 feet, an 18-foot section of the fuselage roof suddenly tore away, triggering an explosive decompression. This exposed the first 5 rows of passengers to open air, with hurricane-force winds tearing through the cabin. In a tragic turn, flight attendant Clarabelle CB Lansing was swept out of the aircraft, and many passengers suffered injuries from flying debris. Immediate response in the face of catastrophe. The shock of decompression was swift and severe, leaving the cockpit filled with deafening noise and making communication nearly impossible. Captain Schornstheimer and First Officer Tompkins had to rely on gestures and intuition to navigate the crippled aircraft, which had lost significant structural integrity. Passengers in the open-air section suffered from hypoxia due to lack of oxygen supply. Meanwhile, injured passengers in the main cabin struggled to stay calm, with many certain that they would not survive the flight. Despite the chaos, Captain Schornstheimer initiated an emergency descent aiming for Kahului Airport in Maui. The 13-minute journey to safety saw the crew face enormous challenges, from maintaining control over the damaged aircraft to navigating turbulent winds. They flew over mountainous terrain, adding to the complexity of the situation. Astonishingly, Captain Schornstheimer successfully executed a landing that saved all lives on board, marking one of the most remarkable landings in aviation history. First-hand accounts from survivors. Passenger William Flanagan, who was seated in the affected section of the cabin, recalled the horror of seeing flight attendant Lansing vanish in an instant. "She was just handing my wife a drink," Flanagan told the Washington Post, "and then, whoosh, she was gone." His wife, Joy, sustained injuries from metal debris and electrical wires but survived. Flanagan vividly remembered the confusion and fear as wires and debris wrapped around him, making him feel as though he was being burned alive. In total, 65 people were treated for injuries after the landing, many of whom were still in shock from the traumatic experience. Aviation expert insight and impact on safety regulations. Greg Fife, a former air crash investigator, later highlighted the magnitude of this event. "No airplane has ever landed with this amount of damage," he said. The only part keeping the cockpit attached to the fuselage was a set of floor beams. Following the incident, the National Transportation Safety Board, NTSB, launched a thorough investigation, concluding that the accident was primarily due to undetected fatigue and corrosion along the aircraft's skin lap joints. The incident exposed major lapses in the airline's maintenance procedures. As a direct result, Congress enacted the Aviation Research Act, which tightened FAA oversight on airline maintenance, mandating regular inspections for all aircraft operating in environments where corrosion is likely to occur. This legislation paved the way for enhanced structural checks on aging planes, particularly those subjected to short, high-frequency flights in humid or corrosive environments. Flight 243's legacy. Reinforcing the importance of safety in the skies. The Aloha Airlines Flight 243 incident was a wake-up call for the aviation industry. It highlighted the critical need for rigorous aircraft maintenance standards and ushered in a new era of safety protocols. airlines worldwide revised inspection schedules, especially for aging aircraft frequently exposed to weathering conditions. Captain Schornstheimer and his crew were celebrated for their bravery, as their actions prevented what could have been a far more devastating outcome. Aloha Airlines Flight 243 remains a story of survival against all odds. The heroism of the flight crew and the resilience of the passengers reflect the spirit of courage and determination. This incident not only changed the lives of those on board, but also influenced the entire aviation industry, reinforcing the importance of vigilance in safety practices. Thank you for tuning into KLM Institute's broadcast. For more riveting stories and updates on critical events that shape our world, remember to like, share, and subscribe.